You are dialed into the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Those of you who are part of the Adrienne Ross Show family, you know I'm glad you're here. Those of you who are here for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. Make sure you hang out for the full video and hit the subscribe button if you will. Also, on the homepage, you'll find a join button. Click that button and you will be able to check out the memberships we have. If you don't see the join button, don't worry about it. Go into the description of this video and you'll see it says join, and you can click the link to find out more. All right, today we're going to talk about Aretha Franklin. Not really, but Aretha Franklin has a song, very CT, Respect. We're going to talk about respect because sometimes people will hear or see something and they will say that's massive disrespect, when in fact it's absolute 100% unadulterated, unquestionable, admirable common sense. R-E-S-P-C-T. And that's what we find when we look at Saniyah Rivers from North Carolina State and what she had to say about Caitlin Clark. Now, the draft was just a week prior to right now, a week ago today, if you're watching this on Monday, April 21st. Well, on Monday, April 14th, we had the 2025 WNBA draft. Saniyah Rivers was picked up, drafted by the Connecticut Sun. We're going to go over to marca.com and we're going to hear what Saniyah Rivers had to say. And you're going to understand this is total RESPECT. Title is A Rookie with Old Scores to Settle with Caitlin Clark has the audacity, my goodness, the audacity to challenge her. I love to slow her down. It says added fuel to the fire, or to the fever, in a quieter but symbolic way. Let's skip down to the second paragraph of this piece. It says, just days after being selected 8th overall in the 2025 WNBA draft, Rivers, meaning Saniyah Rivers, made headlines when asked which team she was most eager to play in her debut season. Rivers didn't hesitate to stir the pot. Now we're going to go on over to Correlation on X and listen to what Saniyah said. She had the audacity to say. Remember, she was asked which team she was most eager to play in her debut season. What you gonna say, Rook?
Let's see. Let's go with Indiana. Why not? I tell the story every time. Caitlin Clark, we played them my sophomore year, and she almost dropped 50 points. That's besides the point. We won. So I always said we won. But no, I always said that I would love the opportunity to match up with her again, because I feel like my defense has grown since then and my confidence has grown. So I want to be the player that maybe tries my best to shut down the best players every night. So she's definitely one of the ones on that team. So I would love the opportunity to match up. Caitlin's gonna be Caitlin. She's gonna hit shots, but I'm not gonna get in my head. I'm just gonna keep stepping up, and I would love to slow her down a little bit.
Yo, I can imagine some people would hear that and say, yo, slow that down, Ricky, slow that down. But I love this. This is, again, RESPECT, the ultimate respect. Why? Because every real baller wants to go through the best of the best. What she said right there, she has to look back to college and like, man, Caitlin went off like 50. But I feel like I've grown. And so I gotta be willing to take on the best. And this is what she's saying. She wants to measure her defensive growth. She said, I feel like I've gotten better. Give me the best you got. So I want to go with Indiana Fever, and I want to take on Caitlin Clark because that's the standard by which I can measure my defensive growth. Yeah, and she want to make sure y'all know Caitlin's going to be Caitlin. She's going to get her points. one thing she's got to understand too is that Caitlin isn't just about getting points. You want to stop Caitlin, you got to be able to, you got to get your hands in passes and all the stuff that Caitlin Clark does. But she's focusing on, Caitlin's gonna get her, she's gonna get her points. She's gonna do her thing. We know that too. We know that. She says, if I want to judge how I've grown, I want to start off with the player who has shown that she can score more points than anybody as she holds the record in NCAA history, whether it's a female athlete or male athlete. She's got it. And so I get it. I get her saying, and I respect it that she says, I'm just going to say it. I want Indiana. I want Caitlin. Let me at her. Now, as much as I respect it, I also got to say, be careful what you ask for, right? Be careful what you ask for. If you want that assignment, you got to be ready. But I totally get that competitive spirit. It's sort of like when you are competing in the playoffs. Real basketball players, they are any sport really, real ballers. Okay. They don't want the star player on the other team to be injured. I know some people are like, "Oh man, you must feel good." Remember Stephen A. said that mess about. I said that to Nafisa Collier when she said UConn. She had UConn winning it, which of course UConn did, and he was like, "Oh, of course you feel good. Juju is hurt." And that's sort of like, what? Now, Nafisa Collier obviously is not in NCAA anymore, but his mindset is warped because true basketball players, you've got to go through the best teams. You welcome the challenge of going through the best teams, and you want to go through the best players. You don't want any asterisks next to your championship. You want to bring it. You want to bring it to the best. And so Saniyah, who's just coming into the league, like I said, be careful what you asked for, but I totally get what she's asking. She's asking, give me an opportunity to kind of redeem myself and show my growth. And if I'm going to show my growth, then I want to go back to where I failed miserably before, where they won the game, but Caitlin went off for almost 50 points. So she's a young one. She's got huge dreams, and she just paid Caitlin the ultimate respect. This reminds me of something that Rickea Jackson recently said on a podcast when she was asked a question about Caitlin Clark. It's different, but it's still showing that RESPCT. Let's go over to Athlon Sports. Rickea Jackson, of course, is starting her second year in the WNBA. She was part of the 2024 draft class. She played in Unrivaled back in January through March. And this title at Athlon Sports is WNBA Rising Stars. Caitlin Clark comment is turning heads. So Rickea Jackson's comment about Caitlin Clark is turning heads. So it says here that she was on a guest appearance of Broadcast Boys podcast. And it says the Los Angeles Sparks rising star Rickea Jackson didn't shy away from giving her honest thoughts about Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark. So we're going to take a look at this. I'm telling you, RESPCT right here.
If you had the chance to steal Caitlin Clark's shooting ability, no one knows, would you do it?
Yes.
But now it's gone from her. She no longer has it.
Yes.
What's the first thing you would do in a game with that shooting ability?
Shoot a half-court shot.
Now, throughout all
the way she said that yes is hilarious. Yes, I am stealing her shooting ability, but she's never going to have it again. Would you? Yes, I am taking it. Not jealousy, not some kind of mean-spiritedness. That is absolute, keeping it real, absolute respect from Rickea Jackson. Now, again, a little bit different from Saniyah Rivers, but the same thing. And this kind of conversation that we saw with Saniyah Rivers. It's what the WNBA wants. The WNBA, Kathy Engelbert let us know. She kind of got in trouble for it, but she let us know last season that these rivalries are important. Now, I'm not saying there's a Saniyah Rivers, Caitlin Clark rivalry, but I'm saying it's comments like that get people dialed in. Like she's like, I want to take on Caitlin Clark. I want to take on the best. And you get that word out there. The league, instead of, oh my goodness, people are going to talk trash about this. Caitlin Clark's fans are going to try. Now, I'm sure I imagine Caitlin Clark's fans recognize the respect there. But there might be some people who'll be like, oh, you about to get cooked. The WNBA, according to Kathy Engelbert, they're going to have their task force out there monitoring what people say about this stuff. This is what sports are made of. Makes people want to tune in. Will Caitlin Clark totally go off on Saniyah Rivers? Will it be a be careful what you ask for moment? Either way, it shows respect. It's good for the game to have this kind of conversation. Really, I love it. I like her confidence, and I absolutely want to see the matchup. I hope you do too. Another thing that's really good about Saniyah's comments is it shows that she is embracing the big time. She said Indiana. That's somebody who has been paying attention. As I have said many times, as Sydney Colson has said, as many of you have said, when you play Indiana, you know for sure eyeballs are going to be on you. So instead of WNBA players complaining about that, or even the media, who have their favorites, of course, complaining about that, you embrace that. Because if the eyeballs are on Indiana, the eyeballs are on you. And you've got this rookie who seems smarter in that regard than some of the people who have been around in the WNBA for a while. Remember Asia Wilson? She's kind of intimidated. Oh, those Indiana Fever fans, and Alyssa Thomas. Oh, those are the worst fans in the whole world. And Renee Montgomery. Oh, no, we don't need those fans. And Elle Duncan, the new fans as they pertain to Caitlin Clark. So you've got all these people who are just like, oh, I wish the Indiana people would go away. Meanwhile, you got a rookie who says, I want Indiana. Smart, 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 smart. She says, bring the heat, because remember, it's the best of times and the worst of times. If you can bring it, it's the best opportunity for you to showcase your talent. And also, there's a lot of scrutiny that comes with that. But the veterans can learn a little something, something from this rookie who says, yeah, I want Caitlin, but I also know with the Fever comes eyeballs, and it grows the game. And isn't that what we're supposed to want in this thing? Ogard, what are your thoughts? Get in the comments. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.